Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hello, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session that was actually created for a lady that had an unresolved issue with a parent that wasn't around anymore. They were deceased. It was over a year since the bereavement, and she was having recurring dreams about seeing her mother. There was lots of kind of what she considered unresolved issues. What was evident is that her mother did not have an easy childhood. She still had feelings of resentment or anger at the childhood that she experienced. And the purpose of this hypnosis session was to create feelings of empathy, and to see her mother's life rather than through her perspective, through an entirely different perspective. So what we did is we used an element of regression to go all the way back to see the kind of childhood that her mother would have experienced. Now, obviously, I'm never going to break any kind of confidentiality in these podcasts, so therefore I can explain a bit of context here without breaching any confidentiality whatsoever. But her mother was the result of rape and incest, and therefore it's highly likely that her mother was repeatedly sexually assaulted, and certainly her mother's mother was definitely, the recipient of things like rape and incest and lots of horrible things. So it's highly likely that her mother grew up in a very unsafe environment with a lack of love and a very toxic environment. So this hypnosis session was to enable her to be the mother that her mother didn't really have. Certainly she didn't have a mother that gave her love and support and safety and protection, because she herself didn't experience any of those things. So this was about one perspective, but secondly, to facilitate understanding and forgiveness at a deeper level, and to create an alternative timeline, albeit just within her mind, of where her mother had a different experience that enabled her to be a different type of mother than she actually was in reality. This was a challenging hypnosis session to do. I, as a therapist, I've dealt with lots of people that have had very, very, let's say, traumatic events in their life. But I would say this particular client had multiple traumatic events, and was almost kind of like, it was almost like generational. It was kind of going from one generation to another of, undesired, unwanted traumatic events. And full credit to this particular client, despite that upbringing of having a drug addicted parent and abandonment and neglect, was still able to kind of break that pattern and become a good mother herself. The difficulty here was not that she was a bad mother, it was that she had unresolved issues with a mother of hers that wasn't around anymore. So this hypnosis session, really, just to sum up the function of it, is to resolve an issue with someone that isn't around anymore. Obviously, this hypnosis session was highly customized to a very, very unique set of circumstances. But if you're listening to this, listen through the lens that people have had also, if you're listening to this from the perspective of resolving a trauma or some kind of unresolved issue, look at it through the lens that there are lots of people in the world that have also had very bad experiences and can still come out of that in an empowered way, almost like they want to break the generational curse. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, this could be useful if it was tailor-made for you, there will be a link to a free 30-minute consultation call where I can explain how I would work with you individually. And if you do want to listen to many hypnosis sessions that I have available as free downloads, I say free downloads, they're free to you as a listener because you're listening to the show. If you use the coupon code FREE and you go to my website, adamcox.co.uk, you'll be able to get those downloads free. Ordinarily, they're about $12 each, or about £10. But for now, see if you can get some value from this hypnosis session, even though it was created for someone else with very specific circumstances, because the essence of it is being a resource to someone that maybe you don't have a lot of understanding or empathy for currently. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation, and as you exhale, just get a sense that tension is leaving your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that with your eyes closed, you could give more of your attention to the sound of my voice. Breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, and as you exhale, just get a sense that you could almost feel any stress, anxiety, or tension leaving your body in that outward breath. Notice that as you breathe in and as you breathe out, you could feel that tension is melting away, particularly around your eyes, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. Just get a sense that it's not needed here in this place. I want you to get a sense that as the tension leaves your body, and your body relaxes more and more, that you are unlocking a portal into your subconscious mind. As your physical body relaxes, your mind, your imagination, the gateway, if you like, between your conscious and your unconscious mind is becoming more and more activated. And I want you to use that power of your imagination to remember a childhood house. I want you to see it perhaps from the outside, maybe like a bird's eye view, seeing that house. And I want you to imagine that that house is abandoned, it's empty, there's no one there. And then find yourself in that house. Walk around the house. And I want you to get a sense that you are safe and protected here, almost like time has been frozen. There's no people here. This house is just a place for you to explore. And I want you to imagine that as you explore this house, maybe it's behind a bookshelf, maybe it's a door that you didn't notice before, but I want you to get a sense that there is a hidden room in this house. imagine entering that hidden room and getting a sense that this is a special place where special things are possible. I want you to imagine there is a very comfortable chair in this hidden room. I want you to imagine lying on that chair. And I will count down from 5 to 1. And with each descending number, you will imagine you're going deeper and deeper relaxed, accessing the most imaginative parts of your mind possible. Starting to count 5, deeper and deeper, relaxed. 4, feeling like you're activating the infinite power of your subconscious mind. 3, arms, legs getting heavier, limper, looser, that's it. Breathing deeper and deeper, that's it. 2, imagining what it would be like to have a nap there on that relaxing chair. And 1, just imagine that you do indeed fall asleep on that chair in that hidden room of an old childhood house. And just within your imagination, I want you to imagine that you've got the ability to float back in time. You can float back in time, protected by a floating bubble. You are invisible in the bubble to anyone outside of the bubble, but you can see through the bubble, and you can leave the bubble whenever you want. Imagine climbing into that bubble and floating all the way back in time to a different city, a different time. And I want you to imagine you're seeing a small child. You know who this child represents. And I want you to see this child looking unhappy. Perhaps this child is told by the people around them that they're not worth anything. Maybe they're scared because they get hit, or physically or emotionally abused. I just want you to get a sense that this is a vulnerable child at a vulnerable age. You can observe the dynamics of what's happening in that home. And when no one else is around except that child, I want you to observe the child just for a few moments and see that that child is desperately in need of safety, protection, love, and someone to value that child. I want you to imagine leaving the bubble. You are your current age, and the child is the child. And I want you to tell that child that you were there to help. Maybe just imagine what it would be like to just play with that child. And if there's no toys around, just imagine playing some kind of game like hide and seek or something else. I want you to imagine that you're building rapport with this child. And maybe this child is anxious or nervous because they haven't been able to trust adult figures. But they can tell from the kindness of your eyes and your true intentions that you are there to help. I want you to ask this child's name. And I want you to introduce yourself as someone that cares. You don't have to say your name, but you can do if you want. I want you to imagine that you're going to take a walk with this child. Nobody knows, nobody cares, but on that walk, I want you to find out what this child is worried about. Ask about this child's relationship with their mother, the people they live with. I want you to get a sense that this child didn't ask to be in this situation, but they found themselves in that situation. And you know what happens next, over the next 10 to 15 years. You know what happens next in this child's life, or the kind of things that's going to happen. I want you to tell this child that they are loved, that you care about what happens to them. I want you to give them some advice or information that may help them make sense of what's going to happen, so that they don't take any feelings of blame or shame as to what happens next. Imagine hugging that child, telling that they are good, that they are worthy, that they are important. Tell them that you believe they are capable of good or even great things. I want you to imagine that you are going to give a resource that you have that maybe this child never had. Maybe it's determination, maybe it's belief, maybe it's inner strength, maybe it's resilience, maybe it's positivity. Give this child something that you have in abundance to this child, knowing that this child is going to need that over the next few years. And then return with this child to this place where they're living, and tell this child that you will see them again when they need you most. Say goodbye to this child. Give them a hug again. And then climb back in your bubble. And as you leave, see the smile on this child's face. Perhaps some of the only words of encouragement and positivity they've ever heard. And then imagine going forwards in time, returning to a specific time in this child's life when the child is older, maybe around 11, 12, 13, or even slightly older, but imagine they've gone through something traumatic, something not of their choosing. They didn't want it, request it, but it happened to them anyway. And they don't know what to make sense of what's happened. And when you feel like you can see them at that point in time, on their own, trying to make sense of an undesirable traumatic event, just let me know by nodding your head. And then be there, in that same room, in your bubble, just seeing them perhaps crying or looking upset, and then leave the bubble and then immediately see their face change. The first thing I want you to tell them is, this is not their fault. They are not to blame. They did nothing wrong. I want you to ask them if they need any help, if you can help them in any way. And when they've had the help that they need, just be with them. Maybe hold them, listen to them, and realize that the purpose of you being there is to steer their life in a different direction, a different trajectory. You know the trajectory of this life, and your role is to give them some kind of meaning or purpose to steer it in a slightly different direction. Tell them they're valuable, they're important, they're worthy, that they are loved and capable of love. Tell them that you know that their instinct is to put up a shell to numb the pain, but that won't do them any favors. And perhaps some of the advice you give them is that they could be stronger. And maybe you can give some of your strength to them so that it can handle the next few years. They can get through it, not unscathed, because when bad things happen, it always has a consequence, but maybe you can give them a resource that helps them cope in a way that is better than they would have done without that resource. And once you've given that vulnerable young woman a resource, let me know by nodding your head. It's time to leave. But you will tell this vulnerable person that you will be back again when they need you most. Climb into your bubble. And just as you're leaving, just see that their face has changed from when you arrived. They're not happy, but they feel that there is some strength within them. And then go forwards in your bubble into the future. And then I want you to meet this woman again. Maybe as a late teenager, early 20s, and I want you to see this woman after she's found out that she's pregnant. I don't know if it's days after, weeks after, or months after. You choose a time that you feel you can have the biggest impact. Again, find a time when she's on her own, trying to process what to make of her life, her future, her options. When you can see her on her own at a time where it's useful for you to see her again, let me know by nodding your head. When you see her there, on her own, whether she's visibly pregnant or not, then leave your bubble. And again, notice her face. She's happy to see you. Maybe it's appropriate to hug her straight away, or just to check in with her and see how she's getting on. I want you to get a sense that maybe she's confused. Maybe she's anxious or worried. And just listen to her words, her worries, any feelings. I want you to tell her that you're proud of her for being able to get through the childhood that she had. Pay her compliments on the qualities that you recognize in her. And I want you to praise her for her resourcefulness, that she went through a very tough time and she managed to find a way through it. Not easy. And and sometimes painful, but she got through it. Praise her courage for choosing to leave an environment that was not safe for her, that was not good for her. And then ask her what she needs from you right now. And just listen. And if there's anything that you can give her that's going to help, maybe advice, maybe wisdom, maybe a resource, or maybe something else. Just imagine giving that to her and that she takes it from you in the way that you intend her to take it. And if she accepts your gift, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to tell her something specific. Tell her that unlike her mother, tell her that she's capable of being a great mother. Nobody was there to tell her that she was anything other than worthless, and here you are telling her that she's capable of being a good mother, a great mother. That you believe in her, even if nobody else does. Notice her reaction. And then give her a hug. Say goodbye. Climb back in your bubble. And then drift into the future, following her life from that point onwards. I want you to see her doing things differently. Maybe trying to be a good mum. Seeing a glimpse of those maternal instincts. Trying to break a pattern that started long before she was even alive. And then I want you to imagine that you see her perhaps when her child is maybe 4 or 5 or 6 years old, just a day before a birthday. But this time I want you to climb inside her. See the world through her eyes, being a young mother. Maybe you can feel that pain inside you. Maybe there's other emotions. And the first thing I want you to do is to forgive yourself. You didn't invite any of this. But you can do things to put things right. And then set the intention of preparing a birthday. Maybe that's finding a small gift. Maybe it's making a cake or wrapping a present. Imagine doing that. And then imagine it's the next day, and then see this young child, the look of excitement, the smiles, as this young child experiences a birthday party. Maybe hear yourself singing happy birthday to this child. See the child blowing out the candles on the cake. See the child hugging you as their mum. And get a sense that this isn't a gift you're giving this child, this is a gift that you're giving yourself, the gift of motherhood. The motherhood you didn't receive yourself, you're giving to yourself now. And then imagine fast forwarding through time until there's a school performance and setting the intention that you will be there for that school performance. Imagine arriving and finding a seat and then seeing your child up on stage, perhaps looking around, and see that smile when they make eye contact with you. Maybe there's a small wave, but give yourself permission to feel that pride that a mother can have for their child. It doesn't matter how the performance is, the important thing is that you're there and they see that you're there. Fast forward through time, and then imagine you're there at a high school graduation. Imagine you're seeing a teenage child looking like a woman now, and just know that in this timeline, you've been able to be there for that child in a way that perhaps wasn't possible in reality. Imagine the hugs, the feelings of pride, and realize that at some level, in this reality, you can do things different. I want you to imagine the graduation is finished and it's just you there with your child. I want you to hear the words you would have wanted to hear back then, but also give the words you would have wanted to say if you were there at that graduation. And when the words have been said, let me know by nodding your head. Imagine hugging in that moment, and then in that hug, swap places. You are now in the body of you when you graduated, feeling the hug of your mum at your graduation, that she was there at some of these key moments in your life. And then say the words, I forgive you. Tell her that you know that she did the best she could, given the experiences that she went through. And when she accepts your forgiveness, just let me know by nodding your head. And it's time to leave. But just realize that stones have been thrown in the ripples of time, and those ripples will extend beyond these moments, in your mother's life, in your life, all the way up to the present day. In this reality, your mother had a second chance at life, and as of now in the present, so do you. A life of deeper understanding, forgiveness, giving yourself credit where credit's due, but also with a new destiny to break a generational curse. And if you're willing to accept that mission, let me know by nodding your head. And now find yourself back in a chair, a comfortable chair in a hidden room in an old childhood house. And as you get up out of that chair and walk around the house, notice that the house feels different, cleaner, tidier, more organized. Imagine there's pictures on the wall of moments that never happened but could have happened. Maybe a holiday together, moments together. And get a sense that you're leaving this a happier home than you found it. And if your subconscious accepts this suggestion to be true, let me know by nodding your head. then find yourself back in the present, listening to my voice. Very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling that something that was unresolved is now resolved. That a person that was influential in your life is now better understood. And that they can finally truly rest wherever they are now. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that you're in your own physical body right now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, you will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling that some kind of breakthrough has taken place, and feeling optimistic for you and your future, starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.